Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew here, back at it again. Today I'm going to be talking about face masks, house arrest, and mind control, and how they're all interrelated. Okay, let's get started. Now, I'm sure all of you know how, in many jurisdictions across the country, it is now mandatory that you wear a face mask. To a large extent, the enforcement of this is left up to local law enforcement and individual retail stores, for instance, Walmart. First of all, I know you've seen all the pictures, people wearing stupid things on their faces. For instance, I saw a picture of a guy with a shoe, the shoelaces tied behind his head, and he's got a shoe on the front of his face, just like this. Another woman I saw had a large plastic, a clear plastic cup, which she had tied with like a rubber band behind her head, and she was breathing into that. Oh yeah, and of course the classic surgical mask. You know, the ones that you could buy at Harbor Freight for 15 cents a piece. First of all, let me say that all of these are apparently being allowed by Walmart and other retailers. I work in home improvement right now. I wear surgical masks sometimes to keep out drywall dust because I do some drywall work. I can tell you from experience that the surgical masks, at least the non-expensive ones, at maximum, I would estimate that they're 40% effective at collecting the particles that you breathe out, water vapor, oxygen, stuff like that. The other 60%, it just goes around the mask. The air just goes around it because it's easier than going through the mask, especially when the mask gets wet. Maybe because you've been breathing in it for 3 hours, okay? So at best, in my opinion, these masks are about 40% effective. So 60% of the coronavirus particles, the virus that you're pumping out, and do you know how small coronavirus is? I mean, it can go right through the mask. The mask might help a little bit to, collect stray molecules of it, but some of it, it's a virus. It can go right through. It can be carried through on the water vapor, and that's not even the part that goes around the mask, as opposed to through it. But stores are allowing this. There's a furious debate, even among scientists and epidemiologists, whether or not these masks actually do anything. Personally, I'm on the side that says they do virtually next to nothing. Unless you got like a full respirator, that might do something. So why is the government mandating something that they know is ineffective? There's only one reason. This is a power grab. This is mind control. I was just down in Miami a week ago. Nothing was open. Nothing. They had cops guarding Walmart down there. 3 cop cars each time I went. Around here, it's sort of the same, not as bad, but I've watched people, and I'd swear that the people that patronize these retailers, as long as they have something in front of their face that vaguely resembles a mask of any kind, like it's like a rectangle made out of anything with a rubber strap on the back, they think somehow that protects them, which couldn't be further from the truth. But even now that it's not mandated by the stores anymore that you have to wear a mask in there, I went to Home Depot twice today and I saw about 5 people who were not wearing a mask. And they weren't angry at me for not wearing a mask because I refused to do so. To them, this is the new normal. In this respect, the government, the bodies who mandated that these stupid masks be worn, they have completely changed the narrative. They have altered the game. Something so seemingly simple and easy to do, and something that was done in response to a crisis, has changed the way people think. The masks don't do much at all, unless you have the virus and it covers your sneezes. Okay, I'll grant you that. But if you don't have symptoms, why is the government not allowing us to take our own risks and go out when we feel it's safe? I mean, even say you go out and you go drive to McDonald's and you get a cup of coffee. There is a chance, however small, that while you're out on that drive, you may get hit by a drunk driver. Risk is an integral part of life. You can't avoid risk. You can't mitigate it completely. It's impossible. Now, if you look critically at the numbers suggest that this thing is slightly worse than the flu and it's tapering off. Everybody acknowledges this. Even Fauci, who backtracked from 200,000 deaths. And remember, the number of deaths right now is horribly, horribly inflated. I covered in a video a couple weeks ago how New York threw in, I think it was like 4,300 deaths that had not tested positive for coronavirus, but they assumed they had it when they died. How crazy is that? And another thing, flu deaths are through the floor. Normally, I think flu deaths are about 50,000 roughly on average in the United States per year. This time around, though, very, very few flu deaths. And you think to yourself, wow, have we eradicated the flu? Have we found the cure? No, of course not. I mean, I know, and you know, that all of the flu deaths are being counted as COVID-19 deaths because the symptoms are so much the same. And a lot of flu viruses are coronaviruses. I don't know. I don't. I don't know. That brings me to my second topic of house arrest. This stupid stay-at-home order. Look at New York. All of their social distancing, and they're still the worst in the country. I mean, how? Just did a calculation. According to Worldometers, Illinois, my home state, 3,349 people have died in Illinois, supposedly from the coronavirus. Population of Illinois is 12.67 million. Imagine 10,000 people. 10,000 spread out right in front of you. Quickly, how many people would you think have died from this virus thing, okay? Most people would say, I don't know, 100. No, it's not. Two people, average age 70 years old with pre-existing conditions, have died, and another person has a somewhat significant case of pneumonia. Out of 10,000 people, 2.6 people have died. Can you explain this insanity to me? And Illinois is the fourth worst in the United States. Just get this. This is according to NBC News. A shocking two-thirds of patients recently hospitalized in New York with coronavirus had been staying home. Two-thirds of all the people, the huge numbers of people who are supposedly getting sick and dying in New York, were at home observing the stay-at-home order. They still got it. This thing is just like the flu. It spreads easily and it spreads far. You cannot contain this. You would have to keep each individual person separate from their families for 2 to 3 weeks for this thing to die out. You couldn't even go out for food. You couldn't go out for anything. You couldn't even open your windows. This is the flu. This is the flu. The only reason the government is pretending this is so dangerous and so horrifying is A, to justify increased spending to get people hooked on socialism, and B, to exercise control over people's minds. There's no other reason. And people are so blind, they're buying into this without question. I don't know. Sometimes I have no more hope for humanity. How basely ignorant and stupid you have to be in order to believe all of this garbage. Seriously, can you not think for yourself? Can you not do your own research and look at the statistics? Seriously, the government is taking away our right to assemble, our right to free speech. Not the government, that's Facebook. Facebook is not allowing you to post anything that says that this thing is a hoax. The biggest hoax ever. They're taking videos down. YouTube is taking videos down. And how many trillions have we already spent on this? What's our national debt going to look like? Who's going to pay for this? As it stands right now, every American citizen owes the government about $61,000. That's down to a baby that was born yesterday. Where's the money going to come from? Something constructive that you personally can do is be part of a protest demanding that governors and state and local authorities reopen the economy and reopen the world. No restrictions, nothing. You do not tell us when we can go out. You do not tell us who we can be with. You do not tell us what we can buy and how much. You do not give us money, okay? We earn it. This is capitalism. This is America. Entrepreneurship is the answer, not government handouts. Is no one else furious about this? Or is it just me? Does no one think? This country needs prayers. Big time. Okay, that's it for today. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you for your attention. God bless.